I always just give someone, it took me forever to freaking understand, is in order to make new friends, you need to. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joy if you're new, and I am an American foreigner that is currently living in Paris. I'm originally from San Diego, California, and before moving to Paris, I was living in New York. I'm no stranger to moving to new cities. I was born in Los Angeles, but then moved and grew up in San Diego. I went to school in Northern California at UC Santa Cruz, and then after school, I went and worked in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I knew absolutely no one. In my mid-20s, I lived in San Francisco, California, before moving across country and moving to New York. I recently discovered that I don't really like any cities in America, so I decided to live part-time in Paris, which is where I am right now. If you clicked on this video, you are probably thinking about moving to your dream city, but you're holding yourself back because you're scared that you won't make friends. Or you clicked on this video because you live in a new city and you're having a hard time making friends. Or you're in college and you clicked on this for some reason, which if you did, that's sick. Let me just tell you that it is completely normal to feel that way. I've definitely felt that way many times, and I go through many seasons where I feel like I don't have enough friends and that it's really hard for me to make friends. So if you feel that way, like, don't feel bad about it, and know that like you are not alone in this, and that is just a season. It is just like one recess that was kind of lame. But if you want to eventually build friends and strong, great relationships, then you're going to want to watch the rest of this video, because I'm going to share with you all the tricks that I use to make friends. I don't even like saying tricks because that sounds like manipulative, but the format that I use that has worked for me and what I find didn't work for me when I was trying to make friends. So let's start off by just going back down memory lane just to give you an understanding of my experience. So when I grew up, I went to a private school for Jews. I'm not even Jewish, but I was put into a private school because my parents didn't want me to go to the Catholic school in the area. And so I had a hard time making friends. One, because I am not Jewish heritage. I'm not Jewish by the religion. I don't look Jewish. So I was already an outsider. And I think anyone who is like first generation from immigrants living in America, like things are just kind of weird because you weren't told by your parents how certain things work in the American culture. So it's always a little awkward when you're growing up. And I always felt like an outsider. And then when I was in third grade, I moved to another public school in San Diego, and I got bullied a lot because we were in a public school system and I didn't have just regular cool clothes. I had always worn uniforms my entire life, and so I already didn't fit in. And I'm in this like beachy San Diego school with a bunch of new kids that I don't know. I spent a lot of lunches sitting by myself at the bench or just getting picked on when I was out in recess. So I know what it feels like to not have friends. I also, when I started middle school and high school, felt like I made a lot of mistakes on which friend group to hang out with because I just didn't want to be alone and I didn't want to spend lunch alone. And a lot of those friendships sometimes weren't the best fit, or those people weren't the best people. I don't know if they're watching this. Like, if you are, sorry, but you kind of were toxic when I was friends with you. So just knowing like you deserve better is like one thing, and knowing that like it's a season is like one thing. But I will say step one is, in order to make new friends, you need to be interesting. And in order to be interesting, you need to have interests. And I think we can all say this, that we've definitely had a friend or a romantic partner that we felt like they didn't really have anything going for them. Like, they didn't have goals, they didn't have any interests, they didn't have any hobbies. And when I'm talking about this, I'm not saying like, oh, I like pizza and I like watching The Housewives and I like going to brunch. Those are things that you like, but they're not goals and hobbies and passions. So if someone really likes surfing, for example, and they spend their entire day and make their lifestyle around that hobby, that's what I'm talking about. Let's say someone's really passionate about being on their sports team, like they're in football, then they're gonna hang out with their teammates, they're going to study how to get better as a quarterback, they're going to go to football events, like basically, I guess, like without saying it, like it becomes your personality trait. So you need to have a hobby. You need to have some identity, something that you're working to. And if you're in a young adult watching this, your identity cannot be work. You cannot be like, my entire world is being a lawyer, for example. I mean, that is something great. That's a goal, that's an aspiration, but you need to have like a variety. So yes, I think it's good to have goals that are career related, but also other goals. Like maybe one of your goals is that you want to hike the biggest mountain in Peru, or you want to go through a 7-day walk through the Grand Canyon, I don't know, or like whatever goal that you want. It doesn't have to be sports related. It could be like, my goal is to eventually have a piece of art shown at a big museum in my local city, something like that. You need to have some passions, and I'm gonna come back to this later on, but write that down right now. Now, I've been going to therapy for the last, I wanna say like 3 years, and I don't think I've really started making a lot of movement in my growth until this past year. And I'm gonna share with you because I feel like with therapy is like, at some point it just clicks. Because even if the therapist tells you what's wrong with you, you're not going to actually absorb it and change because you yourself haven't come to the realization that that's your problem. A lot of my friends tell me like,
you go to therapy and you say such great things about therapy, but like I don't feel like my therapist has really said anything to me, and I feel like I don't know what I need to work on.
And it's because one, you're probably not saying anything in therapy and sharing, and two, your therapist is using the technique where they have you kind of realize like what you need to work on, which is what most therapists do and like what works best. So in therapy, one of the main things that you're gonna learn is what are your needs. And I kind of had like a hard time understanding this when I was going to therapy, like what are my needs? Like my needs are obviously I need to eat, I need money, I need like, I don't know, like attention, like that sort of thing. That's what I thought were needs. No, there's actually like, I wrote it down. So the basic needs that you need, and this is where we're gonna go into step 1, like how to make friends, is your basic needs are broken down by 1, personal growth, 2, contribution, 3, significance, 4, uncertainty, 5, love and connection, and the last one, 6, is certainty. Now, none of these have to like go in order whatsoever, but like some examples could be, let's say, growth is that you constantly need to be learning things, whether that is going to school or like learning a language or learning how to do a vegan recipe, something that you're constantly growing in your life. Second, for contribution, this is like kind of like those people that feel like they need to work in a nonprofit or like give back. Usually they're politicians kind of in a way, or they like love to just help others. Number 3 is significance. So significance would be people that have personal needs around, let's say, having money, status, validation in terms of career growth, or like living in a nice area because they need that significance. Usually it's a lot of people that are career driven and that are really passionate about making a lot of money. So people that are in finance, banking, that sort of thing. 4th is uncertainty. So a lot of the times these people thrive with the unknown. They love doing things like exploring places they've never been to. They love travel. They like constantly moving. They get bored easily, and that is like a need that they have. For 5th, love and connection. Love can be having friendships that they love, a loving partner, physical touch, all those like things that we think about with love. And for connection, it can be constantly socializing or having one-on-one connections with friends, spending time with family, that sort of thing. And the last one for certainty can be like just feeling safe or like knowing what your future plans are. So people that have rigid routines, like a morning routine, or they work out every day from like Monday to Friday, that is a way of a certainty for them. Or not getting out of their comfort zone, like traveling to unknown name places, or just like really living boxed in, are people that have a strong need for certainty. So you're probably wondering why I'm bringing this up, is because different people have different needs, and it's going to affect the relationships that you have with them. Because let's say someone has a strong significance need and someone else has like a strong need for giving back, then those things are obviously going to collide. Or someone who has a strong need for certainty and then their partner has a strong need for uncertainty, those things are definitely not going to meet well. Everyone obviously has all of these needs, but they are stacked ranked differently. So mine would definitely be, I want to say, like either emotional connection, which is why I'm on YouTube and like I share with people online, or it's going to be significance, which I guess is also social media, because in a way it's like I'm constantly growing to achieve amount. And like I used to make personal finance videos, I majored in economics, I always like living in more of an upscale neighborhood, and I like buying nice things. I think that's also because I'm a Taurus sun and Virgo rising, but we'll get into that later. Okay, so step 2, now that you know what your personal needs are, you need to figure out what daily things you do to meet those personal needs. And wait for it, because it's all gonna make sense later, but you need to find out daily things that are gonna help meet your personal needs. So let's say mine is emotional connection. I make videos on the internet because that is how I emotionally connect with others. I also emotionally connect by going to French classes and connecting with my classmates that are also learning French, because it's also relatable. I also make time to hang out with my friends. So like I will FaceTime my friends if they don't live close to me, or like I will call someone or meet up with them and have dinner with them. That is how I emotionally connect. For my personal need for significance, I meet that need through fashion. So I surround myself with like the fashion community, or through social media. That is my hobby. That is how I get some of my significant needs met over there. Step 3, where this is all going to tie in with a bow, and you're probably wondering where I'm going with this, is those are my daily habits. Those are essentially like my hobbies, because that is meeting my need for emotional connection and significance. So I'm going to literally outline my entire day, my life, like how I operate based on meeting those needs. Because what happens with the brain is that we have a subconscious brain and then we have a conscious brain. Our conscious brain does things like we knowingly do it, but our subconscious brain actually makes up about 80% of our decisions, and we're doing things unknowingly when we're not aware of it. So that's why going to therapy and meditation is really important, because it allows you to be self-aware of like, why am I doing the certain things that I'm doing, and am I actually meeting my needs in a healthy way? For me, how I meet some of my needs, like uncertainty, for example, is traveling. I like to travel alone. I like to explore new cities by myself. I like to vlog while I'm there, because that meets my need of like emotional connection and significance. And through that experience, I like to do things that I like. For instance, I'm huge in art and museums. So I go to art museums, I hang out at cafes, and I draw, and that is how I spark like my needs, by doing those things. And when I'm putting myself in those situations, like when I'm going on like a travel experience, I'm gonna meet other people that also have that personal need, that want to do those things. So when people say like you should do things that you like to attract other people with the same thing, that is basically what they mean by that. I just like took forever to understand that. And that's why I want to share it with you guys, because it took me forever to freaking understand this. So let's say you have a big need for significance and you love luxury handbags. You're probably gonna spend a lot of your time at the Dior Cafe. You're probably going to go to like the Chanel Museum, the Louis Vuitton Museum. You're going to wanna buy those bags. You're gonna wanna go to fashion week if you can get in. So what happens is you end up meeting friends that also want to do those things, and then when you hang out, it's actually enjoyable. Because I think we've all hung out with people, or like we have partners where you don't feel like they like the same things as you, and then it's constantly like a compromise, and then you're just not getting your needs met, and then you have to like do things on your own, and it's kind of like awkward. So that's basically what that means. So I hope this helps. Please let me know if it doesn't. Also, like, just like to fire off some tips while we're at this is like, if you want to make new friends as a foreigner, some things that really do help are going to hostels, staying at an Airbnb where you're in a shared room, because then you are socializing with someone else, like really putting yourself out there, doing things that you like, because you're gonna meet other people that like the same thing too. And then I would always say that if you wanna do an icebreaker, I always just give someone a compliment. I always say like something like, I love your hair, or like, I love your shoes. And then that kind of opens up the conversation, that brings down a wall for them, because everyone loves receiving compliments, let's be honest. So I would start there. But I would say the main part, and what has been successful for me in finding friends that I actually enjoy doing stuff with, and that has been the most natural and organic, is just putting myself in situations that I truly, truly like doing, because I'm just naturally going to attract like-minded people that enjoy the same things. And how I do that is really by understanding who I am and what I like to do, and then doing those things. So I hope that helps. If you made it to the end of this video, drop a little like friend group emoji, or just do star friend group in the comments so I know. And make sure you like and subscribe this video. I will see you guys in the next one. I love you so much. Bye.